We're going to create a VBA sub that will use do loops to ensure that the user inputs a percent conversion. Conversion, it's a percentage, so it has to be between 0 and 100. So we're going to do something known as input validation. It's going to verify that the user inputs something in a specified range. Just to let you know, input validation, as I'm showing here, is only done in subroutines. It is not performed in functions. Immediately upon starting, we're going to enter into a do loop, which is the hallmark of input validation. Inside the do loop, we first ask the user for the percentage, and then we test to make sure that the percentage is less than 100 and greater than 0. If that's true, we're going to exit the do loop and we're going to move along. However, if this is false, if they enter something less than 0 or greater than 100, we want to first provide them a correction message, and then we're going to loop back to the initial do loop. So this is input validation for this. We start, enter into the do loop, we get P, we check to make sure that P is in the valid range. If that's true, then we move along and we might do some sort of calculation or whatever. If it's false, we give them a correction message saying your percentage is out of range, and then it just goes back and asks them again. So this loop could go forever. They could keep entering invalid numbers, or on the first time that they enter something, they could just go straight through and not even loop once. So I've opened a new module. I'm going to create a sub validate input. I dimmed P as a double. We enter into the do loop. So whenever I write do, I put loop so I don't forget. We obtain P from the user. That's the percent conversion. If P is less than or equal to 100 and P is greater than or equal to 0, then we exit the do. If we did not exit the do, there's a correction message, and then we loop back. Maybe later on then you would add code here, but I'm just showing you the input validation. So let's go ahead and see that this works. We're going to enter into the do loop, enter percent conversion. I'm going to do a negative control first. I'll do like -50. And you notice that we didn't exit the do loop because P is not in that range. And so we get the message box, percentage must be between 0 and 100. We press F8 again, we go back into the do loop, and if we did that again, -5, it just keeps going until the user enters something that's reasonable between the valid range, so 45. And then we exit the do loop. By the way, I've noticed a lot of students like to write this like as shown here, 0 less than or equal to P, less than or equal to 100. It doesn't give you an error, but it doesn't work properly. So just so you know, see right here I put in -78 and it's exiting the do. This is not the right way to write these two statements. You have to make sure that P is less than or equal to 100 and P is greater than or equal to 0. So that's how you use a do loop to do input validation.